Book 4, The Man Who Walked Through Walls, A Manual of Radical Freedom. Introduction. The prison of safety. The prince was awake. He was present. He was full of fire, but he was still stuck. He was stuck in the idea that there was an inside and an outside. He believed that he was a spirit trapped inside a body, or a mind trapped inside a skull. He did not know that walls are not made of bricks. They are made of flinching. This is the story of how the prince learned that he was not the prisoner, but the open door itself. Chapter 1. The door that would not shut. Anybody walked until he found a door standing in the middle of a desert. It had a heavy iron frame. It had a golden handle. It was the door to the end. If I go through this, thought anybody, I will be finished. I will be safe. He grabbed the handle. It was cold. He pulled. The door opened. Behind the door was the desert, the same sand, the same. A trick, anybody screamed. He slammed the door shut. He opened it again. Desert. He ran around to the back of the door, just a frame standing in the sand. A figure sat on top of the door frame, dangling its legs. It was made of rust and old keys. I am the conclusion, said the figure. Why doesn't this door go anywhere? Demanded anybody. It does, said the conclusion. It goes to the next room. The next room just happens to look exactly like this room. I want to leave. Anybody shouted. I want to exit the story. You cannot exit, said the conclusion, because you are not in a room, you are the room. The figure jumped down. It grabbed anybody's shoulders. The door is not locked, whispered the conclusion. The door is not even there. The door is a drawing you scratched on your own retina. Anybody squeezed his eyes shut. He tried to wipe the image away. Open your eyes, commanded the conclusion. Anybody opened them. The door was gone. The frame was gone. The desert was gone. There was only space. Terrifying, endless, unwalled space. He realized he had built the door because the open sky was too big to bear. He had invented a prison just to feel the comfort of a wall. Chapter 2. The hole in the chest. Anybody walked through the endless space, but he felt a draft. The wind wasn't blowing against him. It was blowing through him. He looked down at his chest. There was a hole in the center of his ribcage. It was the size of a fist. It was perfectly round, dark and empty. I am broken, he gasped. I am missing a piece. He felt a terrible hunger, not for food but for completeness. I must fill it, he panicked. If I don't fill it, I will collapse. He grabbed a stone and shoved it into the hole. It fell right through and hit the ground. He grabbed a handful of gold coins. They fell through. He grabbed a memory of a lover. It fell through. Nothing sticks, he cried. I am leaking existence. A merchant appeared. He was pushing a cart filled with shapes, circles, squares, triangles made of glass and lead. I am the merchant of holes, said the man. I have plugs for every leak. Give me a plug, anybody begged. The merchant handed him a heavy lead circle. This is the plug of achievement. It is very popular. Anybody shoved it into his chest. It fit perfectly. It stopped the draft. For a moment he felt full. He felt solid. But then the lead began to rot. It turned to grey sludge and dripped out. The wind returned, colder than before. It failed, anybody screamed. Of course it failed, said the merchant. You are trying to plug a window. A window? The hole isn't a wound, said the merchant. It is a lung. The merchant reached out and poked his finger through the hole in anybody's chest. He wiggled it. You are trying to block the airflow. If you fill this hole, you will suffocate. Anybody looked at the void in his chest. He stopped trying to cover it. He let the wind blow through. Whoosh. He realized the hole wasn't a defect. It was a channel. It was the place where the universe flowed in and out of him. He wasn't missing a piece. He was open. Chapter 3. The impossible wall. Anybody walked on, the wind singing through his open chest. Suddenly he stopped. He hit a wall. It wasn't made of stone. It wasn't made of wood. It was made of pure, transparent stop. He pushed against it. His hands hit nothing, but they couldn't move forward. He tried to step through. His foot bounced back. It is the wall of impossible, whispered a voice. A guard stood there. He wore armor made of frozen logic. You cannot pass, said the guard. Why? Because it is too hard, said the guard. Because you are not ready, because it has never been done. Anybody punched the air. His fist stopped dead. The air was harder than diamond. I must break it, anybody growled. He summoned the fire from Book 3. He roared. He struck the invisible barrier with all his might. Crack. His hand broke. The wall didn't scratch. Violence does not work, said the guard. The wall feeds on force. The harder you push, the harder it gets. Then how do I pass? Anybody wept, cradling his broken hand. You are solid, said the guard. The wall is solid. Two solids cannot occupy the same space. The guard leaned in close. His face was a mask of cold iron. If you want to walk through the wall, said the guard, you must become the ghost. Ghost, stop being a person trying to get somewhere. A person has density. A person has rights. A person has gravity. Drop the weight. Anybody closed his eyes. He let go of the idea of anybody. He let go of the idea of getting there. He let go of his skin, his bones, his history. He became a mist. He became a frequency. He stepped forward. He didn't hit the wall. He felt a cool tingle as he passed through the frozen air. He opened his eyes on the other side. He looked back. The guard was gone. The wall was gone. It had only existed because he was pushing against it. Chapter 4, the unfinished line. Anybody walked into a white void. There was no ground. There was no sky. There was only a single black line drawn on the nothingness. It stretched out in front of him, thin as a razor. Walk the line, commanded the silence. Anybody stepped onto the ink. It was slippery. Don't fall, he told himself. If I fall off the line, I will fall into the chaos. He walked carefully, one foot in front of the other. He balanced. He sweated. The line went on forever. Then he saw a man kneeling on the line ahead. The man held a giant eraser. He was rubbing out the line. Rub, rub, rub. The path behind the man was disappearing. The path ahead of the man was disappearing. Stop, shouted anybody. You are destroying the road. The man turned. He had no face. He was the editor. There is no road, said the editor. There is only ink, and ink is heavy. But if you erase the line, where will I stand? You won't stand, said the editor. Standing is for statues. The editor reached out and erased the line under anybody's feet. Swipe. Anybody fell. He screamed. He clawed at the white nothingness. I am falling. No, whispered the editor's voice from everywhere. You are just moving without a track. Anybody realized he wasn't falling down. He was floating. Without the line to define up and down, there was no gravity. He could fly in any direction. He had spent his life walking a tightrope painted on the floor of a birdcage. Now the cage was gone. Chapter 5, the mirror that forgot to look. Anybody floated through the white void until he hit a surface. It was cold, smooth, hard. He stood up. He was facing a massive pane of glass. On the other side of the glass was anybody. It was his reflection. It looked exactly like him. Anybody raised his right hand. The reflection raised its left hand. Good, thought anybody. Physics works. But then the reflection smiled. Anybody wasn't smiling. The reflection winked. Anybody hadn't winked. Anybody froze. The blood drained from his face. Stop that, he whispered. No, said the reflection. Its voice was muffled behind the glass. I am tired of copying you, said the reflection. I am tired of being the shadow. I am the real one. You are the echo. I am the real one, shouted anybody. I have flesh, I have blood. Prove it, said the reflection. The reflection reached out of the glass. Its hand passed through the surface like water. It grabbed anybody by the throat. The grip was cold. It was absolute. You are fading, whispered the reflection. Anybody looked at his own hands. They were turning transparent. He looked at the reflection. It was becoming solid. It was stealing his density. You are eating me, anybody choked. I am reclaiming my property, said the reflection. You thought you were the doer, you thought you were the mover, but you were always just the image cast by awareness. The reflection pulled. Anybody didn't fight. He realized he couldn't fight. You cannot fight the thing that makes you real. He let go. He surrendered his weight. He surrendered his name. He allowed himself to be pulled into the mirror. Pop. The sensation inverted. He wasn't the man looking at the mirror anymore. He was the glass. He was the silver surface that held the image. He saw the body of anybody standing in front of him, looking confused. He watched the body blink. He watched the body breathe. But he wasn't inside the body. He was the silent, unmoving witness that held the body in existence. He had become the seeing itself.